Hey, what's the deal, y'all? Back with another episode of the Rock Report. And this one, I got a special guest in the building. I got my homeboy, Nick Holton.
What's going on, people? Glad to be here.
Hey, man, I just want to give people a little bit of context, on me and this guy's relationship. Met this guy back in 2012. 8 years, but it felt like a whole lifetime, bro.
Essentially.
Man, we've been through a lot together. A lot of struggles, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. Learned a lot. And we're here now, so I just want you to introduce yourself, man, and just kind of tell the people a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Nick Holton. Let's see, besides being a financial planner, which is my day job, that's what I do, how I make a living, I like to think of myself more as a marketer. I always am constantly marketing myself. I'm putting myself in positions where I'm able to be seen by more potential clients for myself, and always just trying to expand my business.
Man, that's dope. So, like, I know you said you're in the finance industry. Just how did you get into that, or like, kind of how did you pivot in that direction?
Well, I actually, when I started this career that I'm currently in right now, I work for a firm called InvestWise Financial. But I actually started in a marketing company before that. So we did all digital marketing, social media marketing, and that in itself was such a pivotal career experience for me. I got to learn the ins and outs of what it takes to be a marketer, essentially. And luckily, the owners of the firm that I worked for also own their own financial practice.
Wow.
They saw potential in me. They decided to bring me over onto the financial side of things. And I ended up getting all my licenses rather quickly. And I took off running and never looked back.
So InvestWise was the marketing firm that you work with?
InvestWise is the financial practice that I'm currently. I own my own business. I run my own book.
Right.
But they give me an office. They help out with the expenses of marketing.
Yeah.
In turn for, of course, a cut of what I bring into the business. And the firm before that was actually a firm called White Glove, and we did social media marketing for financial professionals and other professionals in that realm. So legal professionals as well, real estate professionals, etc.
Okay. So would you say like that previous experience and like just kind of like learning what it takes to market in that industry, do you think that previous experience kind of helped you when it came to pivoting into like a finance role?
Absolutely. I would say that was the most pivotal experience for me, is being on the marketing side, especially before I went into the financial side. The knowledge that I gained just from being a part of that company was extremely helpful to me in my career choice, my career path. And if I can't say, just being rather new to the business, I'm not at a point where I'm extremely, my book isn't worth an extremely high value.
Yeah.
But I can tell you I would be on a much slower track to getting to the point where I know I'm going to be in the business if I didn't have that previous knowledge on the marketing side of things.
Man, that's awesome too, because I have been noticing you more on social media, just putting out articles, just giving value. Might not always have nothing to do with financing, but it's just value in general, like just stuff that people might need to know.
Yeah.
Like I would want to know if the coronavirus is over in Chicago if I'm living here in Detroit. That's valuable information.
Yeah,
So like, in what kind of ways do you like use social media like to deliver value?
In so many ways. First of all, I have my LinkedIn account, of course, and my Facebook business page, where I just push as much content as I possibly can. As far as social media marketing goes, all the content I push are all from pretty credible sources. So I use a lot of Forbes articles, Barron's. When it comes to things that aren't financially related, it could be even like the Wall Street Journal, New York Times. What is it? Good Housekeeping. Is that where I push recipes?
Huffington Post.
Huffington. Yeah, all the big journaling avenues. I try and take content from all of them.
Yeah.
And just give it to the public. I put my own personal touch on it, and then I deliver it to the public.
That's dope.
I do that, of course, on my social media, and I push a newsletter to an email contact group that I have as well. In doing that, I can tell you I've already receive new business just from doing that.
Yeah.
Whether it's just clients who maybe they like the, a financial article I pushed on, let's say, the new Secure Act that just passed.
What is that?
So in 2020, as of January 2020, President Trump and the rest of Congress just signed a new bill into law. It's called the Secure Act, and it's riddled with changes in the financial industry, especially for people nearing retirement. So a couple notable changes in that. Required minimum distribution age. It was 70 and a half before. It's now 72. Part-time employees can contribute to 401k plans and other retirement plans through work. Small business owners are now getting a lot more help on starting their own retirement plans. They used to get a $500 tax credit that was written off by Congress. It's now $5,000 tax credit. So a much more sizable portion towards those retirement plan startup costs are being covered by the government. And probably the most notable change, at least the one that has the biggest impact in my opinion, there used to be what are called stretch IRAs. Essentially, if you inherit an account from a loved one who's not a spouse, so let's say your mother passes away and leaves you an account, before 2020, you used to be able to only take a small required minimum distribution out of that account. So let's say typically the RMD is roughly 3.6%, right? So you could take out 3.6% of the account value,
right?
But if the market does well and that account performs at 8%, you're still getting over 4% growth in that account.
Right.
In doing that, you can make that account stretch you an entire lifetime. That's why it's called the stretch IRA. Now, if you inherit an account from a loved one, that full account value has to be depleted within 10 years.
Damn. Okay.
There are no required minimum distributions on it anymore. Hypothetically, if any death in someone's personal life is going to affect them in an emotional way, and perhaps in an irrational way as well. Sometimes those things get pushed to the side. If you inherit this account, you may forget about it. What happens now, unfortunately, and this can really be detrimental to some people's personal financial well-being, is if you forgot about the account that you inherited for...
Oh, shit, what happens?
Well, first of all, let's just say my mother passed away. I received this account, and the account balance when I receive it is $500,000. It's modest for someone who's been working their entire lives and stashing money away into an IRA.
Right.
I receive this account. I don't do anything with it for years 1 through 9, just to make it even. So I have to deplete this entire $500,000 account balance within 1 year. Which is great, right? I'm getting $500,000. That seems like a great thing.
Sound like it, yeah.
What that does, though, unfortunately, depending on what I do with that money and depending on what tax bracket I'm sitting on, I have to cough up a pretty sizable tax bill at the end of the year, right? Let's just say I deplete all $500,000. I don't withhold any of the taxes from that money that I take in. And I just put it into another account that I know is going to grow. I don't have to touch. I forgot about it up until this point. I don't need the money right now.
Right.
So I put all that money back into another account. What happens then is at the end of the year or the following year, April 15th, when taxes are due, I have to cough up, let's just say I was in the 10% tax bracket at the time, which is unlikely in the case that I just withdrew $500,000. I'm going to be in like the 35% tax bracket.
Exactly.
But just for the sake of even numbers, I'm in the 10% tax bracket. I now owe the IRS $50,000.
That's funny you said that, because that actually happened to me this year, and this is why I'm trying to encourage more people to get an LLC. An LLC is going to save you a shitload on taxes.
Absolutely.
So when I went to do my taxes, the guy told me I owe money. He's like, yeah, you actually owe. He said, so since they had you in the wrong bracket, they literally wasn't deducting the right amount out your pay. They're actually going to take more from you, so you owe. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Can you compute these business expenses, please? When he computed my business expenses, he's like, well, shit, that's $1,000 swing. They owe you. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's funny, though. It's like, because, you know, if a lot of people knew that, they would be actually able to take more advantage of that. Because
Absolutely.
a lot of us made a lot of money this year, and we owe the IRS, and we wondering, like, what the hell is going on? LLC is going to change all of that. But that's another conversation for another day. But, yeah, man, that was a lot of information that you just gave there. So just right off the bat, I can tell, even though you probably haven't been in your industry for decades, you know a lot. You know enough. And so, obviously, in your field, you know, clients are going to come to you because they heard about you through work that you did with somebody else. So it's that word of mouth experience, which means in your industry, it's more advantageous to have a personal brand. So for you, when did you realize a personal brand was necessary to kind of set you apart?
Well, that is that's what this profession, that's what my entire business relies on, right? I'm Nick Holton, financial planner, and then I work for InvestWise Financial. Technically, that's who I write my business expenses through.
Right.
But people don't know InvestWise as a name; they know Nick Holton as
Exactly.
a name. If I'm pushing content on my own and making these people happy on my own, that directly reflects on me. It does not reflect on the business that I write my expenses through. That's all. This is my business. If I didn't have a brand established for myself, I wouldn't have. If I had any clients, they would be most likely family members. You know, just word of mouth through myself.
Yeah.
But establishing the brand and the content that I'm pushing out to the people who are affiliated with my brand is, in my opinion, one of the most important things you can do to be successul.
For sure.
Not just in finance, but in any business.
Damn. That's powerful, man. So like, just, you know, because like you said, it's just that word of mouth experience that you ultimately have. So it's like, when you're going to like produce content, I know you said you're kind of separate from InvestWise, but you're all really the same. It sounds like the Keller Williams effect. You know, like if you're a real estate agent,
Absolutely.
you know, you're under Keller Williams, but you are your own individual. When it comes to you putting out content, do you have to give credit back to InvestWise at all, or any kind of shout out, any kind of?
No. So the way that this business is structured, I do all this. I push out this content on my own. I make sure that people are updated on the most recent changes, like this Secure Act that I just mentioned.
Yep.
I want people to be familiar with it. If they come in and have a conversation with me, I need to be familiar with it and be able to expand on it in depth. So I do all this on my own. The way that InvestWise gets credit is any, whether it's fees that I charge or commission that I get from products that people purchase from me,
stuff like that.
A portion of that goes back to them. So it's a good setup. I get a hefty portion of whatever I bring in, and they also get a small portion of what I bring in.
Okay.
So it works out for the best. And
like you said, they give you a platform.
They give me a platform. And another thing I did want to mention is the marketing that I'm doing right now, whether the referral business, word of mouth business is the best business that you can get, especially in my industry.
Right.
It's the easiest to come by. If you have a happy client that says your name to another person, that person wants to be happy as well.
Right.
They're going to come in and talk to you. Ideally, I'll be able to set them up financially so they can coast into their retirement gracefully.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work like that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You can have happy clients, and asking them to reference your name to other people is kind of an awkward conversation to have. Another way actually one of the biggest ways that I drive in business is through seminar marketing. So we use social media to advertise these events that we hold.
Exactly.
And where, let's just say I did one last week in Ferndale. Okay, we were at the Gary Cullick Community Center in Ferndale. We push out a digital ad to people on Facebook and other streams, and we invite them to come to this event.
Yeah.
We have a landing page set up that people go in and register for the event on. We take all the registrations in that way.
Right.
And essentially what happens is, let's just say I want 20 households. So like either couple, husband and wife, or single people, anything like that. I want 20 units in the room.
Right.
Okay. So we're going to take roughly 40 registrations. We're going to push this ad out, try and get 40 people interested in this ad, and we typically see around a 50% drop off.
Okay.
All right. So we fill up the registrations. Come event time, I walk in the room, I set it up, I give people some snacks, make them happy,
Nice.
coffee, and then I have 20 units in the room waiting for me.
How far in advance are these digital ads pushed out to give the locals, notoriety?
Yeah, typically we start marketing 2 weeks before the event.
Okay.
So we'll push out the first ad. We do see we're always tweaking how we're pushing out the ads. But typically if we push them out, let's say 2 weeks before, and 10 people sign up right away, we'll see only 3 of those 10 show up. Whereas the people who signed up closer and closer to the event are, much more likely to actually show up.
That makes sense.
So, and then as soon as we actually get these bodies in the room, I deliver a presentation on whatever topic was advertised for.
Yeah.
So the one I did last week was Social Security. I give them all the information they would need to know on Social Security. There's a small commercial spot for myself at the end where I tell people what I do, how I could potentially be of more service than I already was to them. The goal here is deliver as much value to them free of charge as possible. And then I offer a follow-up consultation also free of charge. Damn. So it's a lot of value that I'm providing.
Up front. And that's how you win.
That's how you win.
Providing value up front is the game. Like, back in the days, when we lived in a more capitalistic world, it was about the money. Like, how does this make me money? That world is long gone, bro. I imagine, I have a dream. In 10 years, selling will be no more. Yeah. What value are you bringing to the marketplace before you hold your hand out to ask for anything?
Exactly.
And when I learned that was the game when it came to social media, and that's what you call value banking, it's putting value in the bank before you try to take value out of the bank. So, you pick an industry, preferably something that you're passionate about, learn as much as you can, and then give that information away for free.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what you guys are doing. And what happens is it creates a relationship, because if one person is able to walk away with something, that's enough.
Yeah.
They're going to want to know more. They're going to, and then not to mention, like, I'm pretty sure y'all doing email marketing as well from the people who sign up. That's like, I might not have caught you on that Friday, but guess what? I'm going to catch you when you wake up Tuesday with this email right here, and you might be able to make the next one. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I see how they attacking the market from all angles and shit. And that's dope. You get to be the front.
I'm telling you, going and doing these seminars is fantastic. Okay, you get people in front of you. They learn to like you. I'm pretty energetic when I'm presenting.
I can imagine.
They enjoy the content. I get great reviews. So we pass out these evaluation forms. I tell them to critique me so I can continue to get better for the next classes.
Damn! You asked them, like, how can I get better? That is powerful, bro.
Yeah. And they do. They will leave. It's always constructive, but if there is anything that I had one lady, I did one in Southfield 2 weeks ago, and I had one lady say that I moved around too much. I took that into account, and she was pretty old, so moving around.
Her head had to turn back and forth.
Could have been pretty distracting.
I can imagine you pacing back and forth up front, though. It's like, God damn it, I got to keep moving my neck.
Essentially, yeah. But I take all that criticism and I channel it into a better performance for the next one. But what I was getting at is these seminars are fantastic.
Yes.
I enjoy doing them, and it gets me out of the office. I'm walking around. I'm networking, meeting new people.
Exactly.
Really, what I love is when people register and don't show up.
Oh shit! Why?
I get their email addresses, I get their phone numbers, I
Yeah.
get to call them and have a personal conversation with them,
Ooh.
offer the information that was delivered at the presentation. It's essentially establishing a brand new connection with a brand new person who I know absolutely nothing about.
Hey, Jake, I noticed you didn't make it to the seminar Friday. Just wanted to get you that information that you missed out on here. Give me a call back at, you know what I'm saying?
That's 100% what I do. And then, you know, it's a complete numbers game. The more people you call, the more people will call you back, of course. But that's the biggest thing that holds people back from success, in my opinion, especially if you're in, I'm in a marketing position and I'm in a financial profession. I'm not a salesperson.
Right.
I do sell products, but
Right.
I would never classify myself as a salesperson.
Big facts. Let's get it.
People want to work with me because I'm good at what I do.
Right.
Right? So if I give people information, they absorb that information. If they retain it and they enjoy the information and the platform that it was presented on, they're going to want to come back and see me. If there's a way that we can work together from there, I'm 100% in.
Yeah.
And they will be as well. But with the biggest problem that people tend to have, if they are in a sales role or in a position like mine where I don't consider myself a salesperson, but I need to be in front of people in order to become successful in my business.
For sure.
People don't like picking up phones and calling people.
Yeah.
I had someone tell me like this, I have a desk phone, right? So you pick it up, it's got the cord on it. You don't see many of those anymore.
Yeah.
But he said, he picked up a phone and he said, this thing weighs 10,000 pounds. I was like, you are absolutely right. When I first started in this industry, I hated being on the phone. I hated it, man. Especially a desk phone like that. I didn't want to pick up and dial the numbers.
Exactly.
I didn't want to do that. So I learned to love it. As soon as I learned to love it, guess what? I had a bunch more people coming in to see me.
Are y'all like able to, because I know you said obviously getting in front of more people is how you'll become more successful. Are you guys able to produce content for like YouTube?
Yeah, I can produce content whichever way. We write through what is called a broker-dealer. It's a FINRA, an SEC regulated company that manages whatever investments we decide to place into the market. There are compliance standards with FINRA and the SEC that this broker-dealer has to comply with. And as long as whatever content we produce is within these compliance standards, then yeah, we can push content whichever way we want.
Okay.
That's actually, I have so many things that are currently in the works that I'm sure everyone is going to be seeing pretty soon. As soon as I get these things out. But a lot of them, I'm extremely passionate about fitness. So combining finance and fitness into one channel and pushing that out.
Yes.
It's one thing I'm currently working on.
Man, that's interesting that you mentioned that because, Gary was having a conversation with this kid and he's like, Gary, I'm good at so many things and I don't know what to go after. What should I like narrow myself into? And he was like, be careful with that because a lot of times you might not have to go narrow. You might be the niche itself. Like you as the individual might be that niche. He's like, look, I talk about business. I talk about sports cars. I talk about wine. And I talk about garage selling. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything. I am the niche. So I don't have to just try to narrow myself or limit myself to one thing. So that reminded me of him when you mentioned that you're also passionate about fitness. I think even your goofiest passions, bro, like if you like Pokemon cards, you have to figure out how to encompass that in your content.
Absolutely.
Because it's all of who you are. So it's amazing that in this world, this 2020 world we're living in, that somebody can make a decision to have you be their financial advisor because they like Yu-Gi-Oh cards too.
It's incredible. It really is.
And they see the paraphernalia hanging in your background on your video, so they're like, I'm going to this guy. We got something in common.
You should see my office, bro. Everything that I am passionate about, I have at least something that portrays that in my office because it's a conversation piece.
Yes.
I have... I have a 67 Impala SS model car sitting up on one end and a 67 Ford Mustang Fastback on the other side. In the middle, I have a picture of my wife and I in Ireland Another conversation piece for
Yes.
anyone who's traveling.
Oh, he's good. This guy's good.
I have maps. I have globes. I have a little toy sailboat. So I'm passionate about water and boats and being on the open water. Anything that I enjoy has to be visible and present in my office because I want that conversation to start. I had one client, they were a prospect at the time. They came in, saw the 2 model cars up on my little credenza in the back of me, and we talked about classic cars for 2.5 hours.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. It takes it. You don't even have to sell at that point.
I didn't sell.
Exactly.
In that first appointment, we did not talk about finance
At all.
At all. We talked about classic cars for 2.5 hours. They checked the time and realized that they had to go, took off. We scheduled another appointment, and they moved their entire
How powerful
net worth
is that, man? This is why you have to encompass all of who you are and what you do. So, I apologize that I haven't had like paraphernalia put up in the back yet. That's all coming. Trust me, it's just all a work in progress. But man, I know you came a long way to just to get where you are. And, just the knowledge that you have overall, how much you've grown as a person. I got to see it firsthand. Like, can you just talk about a little bit of what went into like shifting your mindset overall? Like, what was it for you?
Well, I guess when I first started realizing that I'm on my own and I have to be independent and I have to make it for myself. There were a few different obstacles and a few different factors that pushed me in the direction that I went in. You could say I was kind of lost for a while. I was unemployed. I was doing whatever I wanted to do, essentially. Not all of it was to better my future. Right. I guess I got to a point, and you were actually an extremely big factor in turning my wheels into the right direction the direction that I knew I should have been going down. And that was, talking to you, reading with you, listening to either just goofy ass music that we found or different, people speaking and just learning as much as we could. Yeah. I remember sitting down with you, writing out a list of things that we wanted to accomplish, for the next year and the next years to come.
Yeah, I remember.
And a few of those things I know that I've already accomplished.
Exactly.
And in doing that and writing them down and making sure that I was actually passionate about these things that I wanted to achieve and pursue, that was probably one of the most pivotal moments for me, is knowing that, okay, this is something that would better my life and would make me happier as a person.
So I think you was on point, man, when you pretty much said, like, things doesn't just happen, at least not intentionally, you know what I mean? Like, you said you wanted a white collar job because you felt like it paid more. And, Gary talked about the fact that when you go down a certain path, you should never look back because you don't know how that other path would have ever turned out for you.
Absolutely.
So when you make a decision to go in a direction, just go. Like, don't even think about, like, what's behind you. So, like, I know you gave me some credit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, like, I got to also give you, like, an equal amount of credit because, when you got people you can bounce ideas off of, sometimes it just validates you. And it makes you feel not so crazy. When you got somebody else who can be like, yo, I believe in the same things. And, like, I know we had a lot of, like, deep and enlightened conversations. But, like, who did you say, like, were the people who, like, impacted you the absolute most, like, out of your mentors? Like, for me, it was guys like Bob Proctor, Les Brown. I even remember when you met, Corporate Davis. He taught you a lot.
He was definitely going to be on my list.
So, just talk about, like, some of the mentors that you had and just some of the things they taught you.
Yeah. Really, for me, I learned so much from people who have been in my industry and who are exceeding in my industry, but I wouldn't look at them as mentors.
Okay.
For me, let me retract. There is one person who he's stuck with me. He's given me advice more than just financially. He's a close friend of mine, and he's actually an advisor as well. He works with Ameriprise Financial, and his name's Mark Gardner. He's I went to high school
Shout out to Mark.
Shout out to Mark. I went to high school with his son, and my younger brother went to high school with his youngest son, or younger son. He has another youngest son, and the whole family is fantastic. They're generous. They're charitable. They're like no nonsense people. They're a great family, and he kind of led us through a lot of heartbreak. You know, he took over a lot of our accounts after my father passed away. We got rid of our old financial advisor.
Okay.
And this is way before I was in the business.
Yeah.
I just saw how he handled himself, and he was just so confident and sure of himself, not only in his profession but also in his day-to-day life. And that was really, I wanted to pursue a lifestyle similar to that. So that was, I would say, one of the biggest influencers, mentors in my life was Mark Gardner. Other than that, I spent a pretty significant amount of time with a gentleman called Corporate Davis, Duran Davis. He's a wonderful human being. He's the most the most career-oriented and business-driven person I think I've personally ever had the pleasure of coming in contact with.
I hate I never got the chance to meet him. I just remember you telling me he was such a long-term thinker. Like, he always thought long-term.
I can tell you, he started this idea that he has, and he's still pursuing it, and it's going really well for him. He's out in California now. He moved, and he's launching his platform.
Yeah.
I don't want to break the ice for anyone.
Yeah, don't break the ice for him.
But he's come so far, and this was in, I think, I must have met Corporate Davis in 2014, 2015 maybe?
Roughly, yeah, it was about that time, yeah.
And so, I mean, just for the past 5 years, he hasn't dropped a dime yet.
Damn.
He's been working. He's making sure, and everything is finally at that stage where it's all coming together for him. And that, I think, is one of the most commendable qualities you can have.
Yeah.
Is he decided to continue to work and build and outdo the competition that's in his field, in multiple different fields he's in now.
Damn.
And he decided to make sure that everything was as close to perfect as possible before he decided to launch anything. And he is still working at it. That for me, having that long-term mindset. I know for me, this business, it takes a while to get off the ground.
Right.
You know, luckily I'm moving pretty quickly right now, compared to the industry average.
Okay.
But really, it still is going to take me a little while to get my feet off the ground and to really excel in my business.
For sure.
You know, he just kind of instilled that long-term mindset, and knowing that I don't need that instant gratification right away. I'm in this for the long haul. I'm never going to stop working, you know. And that I could stop working if I wanted to. I could retire early and go sail off to some U.S. Virgin Islands. I don't want that. I want to continue to work and just build the best business possible that I can build.
That reminds me of Warren Buffett, you know, because he loves what he does. He said, I'm going to be doing what I'm doing 5 years after I'm dead. 100%. He said, like, if the interviewer asked him, like, what would you do, you know, if your kids told you, Dad, you're too old, it's time to hang it up? He's like, I would divorce them as my kid. You're no longer a part of this family. Telling me that I can't do what I love. He's like, now, if I get to playing with yo-yos and stuff and I sound crazy, then it's time for me to wrap it up. But he's like, other than that, I'm 86 years old and I love going to work. I jump out of bed with joy in the morning. And that's what I want to die in my industry. Like, I want the story to be, he was about to get on stage, had a heart attack. The old ass had a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was in my field doing what I love. Because that's when you know it's real. Like, if you want to that's cool if you want to retire one day and just go relax. But some of us, we're trying to achieve greatness.
Well, and the difference that I see in that is retirement is a mindset to me.
100%.
Really. It's not, I mean, it's an age, it's quality of life, all these things combined into one, and that's what people expect their retirement to be. for me, first of all, I don't want to wait until I'm 65 plus to go do what I want to do. I want to do it now.
Right.
I want to work hard right now and be able to take these things into account. Like, I'm going to Vegas next week. Mm-hmm. It's a work trip, but I've never been to Vegas. I want to go enjoy Vegas.
Yeah.
So I'm taking an extra couple days in Vegas to just explore.
Right.
These are things that I want to do now.
Mm-hmm.
Last year I went to Ireland and Scotland, which I'm mostly Irish. That was a bucket list trip for me. And I just decided to do it.
I saw the pictures too. It looked amazing.
It was fantastic.
That was just like some type of log cabin or some shit, like whatever. It was dope.
I mean, these like 800-year-old castles.
Damn.
I mean, it's architecture that we don't have in America.
Yeah.
Because we were founded in 1776.
Right.
You know, we just don't have that kind of history.
Right.
I mean, we still do have some pretty fantastic history in America, but when you go over to these other continents, you just see stuff like you've never seen
been
before.
Established for thousands of years as opposed to a couple hundred.
I mean, you're looking at, not so much in Ireland, but like you jump over the pond and go to Italy, you're looking at the Roman Empire. Like Julius Caesar. These are places that have been around, you know, they used to fight gladiators.
Right.
Can you imagine two human beings fighting to the death nowadays?
Man, that is just
with thousands of people watching.
Man, that's incredible to have that experience, man. But it's like you said, like it's a part of what you love to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, see things, and that goes back to what Wallace Waddle said. Is like, you know, to be truly fulfilled is you have to experience that fulfillment on 3 different levels: physically, mentally, and spiritually. Mm-hmm. Physical fulfillment is like, you know, having clothes for your body. Like you need that. You need clothes. You need shelter. You need food. Spiritual fulfillment. You need literature in your life, books. You need opportunity to travel and observe things, and you need intellectual companions. And then on a spiritual level, you need love. Love is necessary to complete like all 3 levels of fulfillment. You know what I'm saying? Like health, wealth, love, and happiness. Mm-hmm. So it's like, man, it's just off this conversation. It just seems like, you know, you have the mindset, you're ready to do it. You're in this for the long run. Can't nobody tell you nothing, man. I just want to thank you, Ron, for coming on the platform, being a part of the experience, getting your brand out here more. I look forward to seeing you on more podcasts. It'd be a good idea for you to just put your brand out there, especially if that podcast or that platform somewhat like gives you an opportunity to like be more of who you are.
Absolutely.
So it's like, my brother, I want to thank you again.
It's my pleasure.
Catch y'all on the next one.